Today we're going to install the GatorTrax matte finish on this 2019 Ram 1500 new body style. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I've already got the canister out of the box. The first thing I'm gonna do is pull the spiral for shipping out. So I'm gonna pull this sticker away, just kind of wrap this out. It pulls right out. I'm gonna set that to the side, discard that. We've also got a Phillips head screw holding this bracket in place. Now I'm gonna go ahead and undo that screw. That releases the bracket. When you do this on both sides, the blanket comes loose and you can pull it out of the canister. So we're going to discard the screw, but the bracket, we're going to hold and save that for later. Remove the spiral and the bracket from both sides. All right, now before you can put the rail into the canister, you need to first unlatch the cover. If it's locked, you need to unlock it, then press the button to undo the latch. Now the rail can slide into place. Okay, so here we are on the passenger side of the cover. This is the passenger side rail. If you notice, there's a hole in one end of the rail. That's gonna go towards the canister side. Now, when I rotate this around, I'm gonna see a big channel opened up. This is what the blanket is gonna slide through. Now, you'll also see that we've got a little tab sticking out the end of the rail that's gonna go behind this hole in the canister, and this tab sticking out of the rail with a hole in it's gonna go behind this hole in the canister. So once all that lines up, we're gonna fasten the rail to the canister through those holes. So I'm just gonna slide the rail right over the canister. All right, so now this aluminum tab on the rail is going to drop down behind the hole in the canister. Now I'm going to use one of these silver machine screws that's included in the kit. That screw comes out of the box. The clamp box is in with your rails. You take a Phillips head screwdriver and tighten that down. And the other silver machine screw is going to go into the other hole to fasten the canister to the rail. Now, it may be tempting to use power tools on this. I definitely recommend using hand tools because you don't want to strip out the threads on that rail. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side and then move to the canister cover. All right, now here is our canister cover. This is kind of a wedge shape. It's also going to have a big rubber seal hanging off of one side. That seal is going to be facing towards the cab. Now what I like to do is I'll take my Allen screw that comes in that same box I pulled those machine screws out of, and I'm going to go ahead and fit it into the canister cover. I'm doing this just to kind of clear out any kind of excessive powder coat buildup that's inside those threads. That way I'm not trying to fight with it when I'm trying to install it to the rails. So I'm going to do that and just kind of screw it in and back out just to clear those threads, and then I'm going to go ahead and install this to the rails. So what we're going to do is slide the wedge right into the rails. The threaded hole from the canister cover should line up to the holes on the rails. Now we're going to go ahead and use our provided Allen wrench and screw and attach the canister cover to the rail on both sides. Now you may need to tweak on the rail a little bit to get everything to line up nicely. Get it nice and snug on both sides. All right, before we put this into the bed of the truck, we're going to pull it forward and latch it in place. That keeps the blanket from moving forward and backward in the rails. Now with this step, you'll probably want to have a second set of hands. We're going to lift the cover and set it into the bed of the truck all the way up against the bulkhead, and then drop it in place where the rails drop down into the bed caps. We also want to make sure that the seal is laying over top of the bulkhead. Okay, next what we're going to do, I've already gone ahead and slid the canister all the way forward, so this rail won't go any more forward towards the cab. Next, we need to make sure our spacing from the rail to the tailgate is correct. So we're going to go ahead and gently close the tailgate. Now this piece that I told you to pull out before and retain for later is actually got a 1/8 inch spacer at the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to put that up against the tailgate, and we're going to slide the rail to that spacer. All right, now once we've done that on both sides, we're going to go ahead and attach our clamps. All right, now you're going to see a couple of adjustment screws. These right here are going to be where you're going to attach the clamp. So here's your clamp. Spread it apart, slide up as far into that rail as possible. The grooves in the clamp will mate right up to the grooves in the rail. Make sure the rail is pulled all the way to the bed cap and drawn down. You want to first go ahead and tighten everything down by hand and take a 1/2 inch wrench or ratchet, and as you start to tighten it down, make sure you bear down on the rail to make sure it's seated properly. And then just get it nice and snug. All right, your front clamp is going to attach the exact same way. Repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, now before we install the drain tubes, we want to pull off the plastic protector on top of the canister. Now on each side of the canister at the bottom, there's going to be a hole. That's where any kind of excess water will run out of the bed. That's where we're going to install our drain tubes. Now the best place on the ram, in my opinion, to install this drain tube is right where this hole is, directly behind your tie-down hoop. Now that might be covered up with a plug, so you might have to pop that out. But I like to run the drain tube down through there, turn it back up, and snap it into the canister. Once you hear it snap 2 times, it's installed. Now we're going to go ahead and test the operation of the cover. Just pull it backwards. Now remember that over the next 48 hours after this has first been installed, it's probably going to be a little more difficult to operate the cover. That's because the brand new seals have to wear in and form a memory. Now we're going to go ahead and pull off the protective layer. All right, now on each side of the bulkhead, the seal needs to be trimmed to where it fits right to the edge of your bed cap. Use a utility blade and trim that down. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts or visit us online.